evening to all the beautiful souls around the world. Namaste, my name is Bindu Bodhanapu from London, UK. I welcome you all today to the 13th day of the 21-day Spiritual Science Doctors Retreat. It's my greatest privilege today to introduce to the speaker Dr. POOJA SHEORAN. Dr. POOJA SHEORAN is a final year scholar of Bachelor's of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery at the National College of Ayurveda, Haryana, India. She is a wonderful soul and doing meditation since 3 years under the guidance of Dr. Sangeeta Nehra ma'am. She believes that meditation has introduced her to her true self and taught her love. She is an extraordinary talented person and an amazing speaker and reader. She is also featured in many programs held on PMC Harvani. From this academics, she is a graceful dancer and an amazing poetry writer. Today, she will be enlightening us with Hermann Hesse's book named Siddhartha. So, friends, without any further ado, let's all welcome Dr. Pooja to share her wisdom. Dr. Pooja, the stage is all yours. Warm welcome to you.
Namaskaram. Thank you so much, Bindu ma'am, for the kind words, for introducing me so beautifully. Om Bhur Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhrago Deva Shadhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. We meditate on the glory of that being, Savitur, the Sun, who has produced the universe, who is the essence of our life existence. May he imbibe his divinity and brilliance within us. Hello, Buddhas. You know what Bhagavad Gita says? Even if you be the most sinful of all sinners, you shall verily cross all sin by the raft of knowledge. See, this is how powerful knowledge is. And today, I am here, oh beautiful souls, to convey you the knowledge I gained from the book Siddhartha. My name is Pooja Sheoran. I am a Bachelor of Ayurveda, Medicines and Surgery final year student. I have been meditating for the past 3 years. And during this time, I got the privilege to meet many meditators of different age groups from different places. Listening to their journey of meditation taught me a new lesson every time. So, I'm going to tell you my journey of meditation, hoping it may teach you a lesson as well. So, I was introduced to meditation by Dr. Sangeeta Nehra ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for doing so. My perception has completely changed after this. I started feeling more confident, more blissful. I started expressing love, not only humans, but for plants, animals, even sometimes to materialistic things like my bed, blanket, chair, laptop also. Meditation taught me that love is the language of soul, which cannot be said or heard. It is felt. Most people love to lose themselves, but I had loved and I found myself. I also discovered the medicinal magic of meditation by curing my migraine with its help. In my perspective, being doctors, we don't need to treat people. We need to heal them, heal their body, their mind, and their soul. I was a kid who used to believe in good and bad things, but I'm an adult now who believes in the lessons life wants to teach us through its actions. And it is all because of meditation. So, today I'm going to share the lessons I have learned from the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. So, I'm sharing my screen. It will take a few seconds. So, Siddhartha. It is a 1922 novel by Hermann Hesse that deals with the spiritual journey of self discovery of a man named Siddhartha during the time of Gautama Buddha. Most of you are thinking that it is about Siddhartha, the Gautama Buddha, but it is not so. Actually, I remember reading this book thinking it was a book about Gautama Buddha. My misconception was because of the title and picture of Gautama Buddha on the cover of this book. Later, I realized the book was about a fictional character named Siddhartha. So let's begin. Let's talk about the author. If we talk about the author, his name was Hermann Hesse. Here you see some of his beautiful quotes. The truth is lived, not taught. As a body, everyone is single. As a soul, never. How beautiful it is. Happiness is a how, not a what, a talent, not an object. Along with it, here are some pictures of Hermann Hesse. The first one is from his childhood. The next one is when he's young, and the last one is from his old age. So, guys, I'm sure reading these simple quotes, which are hiding a deep meaning in them, you guys are really keen to know more about the author. Hermann Hesse was born on 2 July 1877 in Black Forest town of Koll in Württemberg, German Empire. He was a German-born Swiss poet, novelist, and painter. You see, in right side, this is the one of his painting I like the most. How beautiful and meaningful it is. He received Nobel Prize in Literature in 1946. Hesse was headstrong and hard for his family to handle from childhood. His love for music and poetry came from his family. Hesse tried to attempt suicide during his school days in Malabon Abbey. The reason behind it was not known, but he was placed in a mental institution after this due to his poor mental health. Later, he was sent to a boys' institution where he took up drinking and smoking. You see how distracted he was during his school days, and later he's grown to be a great, great, great novelist. After this, in 1895, Hesse began working in a bookshop, which has a specialized collection of theology and philology. He started spending more time with books rather than friends, as a result of which he released his first small volume of poetry named Romantic Songs, and along with it, his collection of prose got published. But both works were a business failure. Hesse suffered a great shock. In 1899, he worked in an antique bookshop in Basel. Here, he further developed spiritually and artistically. And in 1904, his novel Peter Kamenzen published and became popular throughout Germany. And having realized he could make a living as a writer, Hesse finally married Bernoulli, his first wife. The couple settled down in Garnhofen, the place where Hesse's interest in Buddhism was re-sparked. And in 1904, influenced by the great philosopher Arthur, Hesse discovered Theosophy or Brahma Vidya, which renewed his interest in India. Siddhartha was to be derived from these two influences. So, during World War I, Hesse registered himself as a volunteer, but exempted from compulsory military service due to an eye condition, but assigned to service involving the care of prisoners of wars. Heshe wrote an essay in which he appealed his fellow intellectuals not to fall for nationalistic madness and hatred. Due to it, he becomes part of a serious political conflict. Heshe, attacked by German press, received hateful mails. It was not yet resolved when he faces a deeper life crisis with death of his father, serious illness of his son, and his wife's schizophrenia. His first marriage fallen apart, and in 1924 he married the singer Ruth Wenger. However, it is also unstable, and later in the same year, in 1924, he married a art historian. Heshe's work was banned by the Nazis, but due to his attempt to work against Hitler, the Glass Bead Game was his last novel. During last 20 years of his life, he wrote many short stories, poems, and spent much time pursuing his interest in watercolors. Heshe died on 9 August 1962. I'm really inspired after knowing about him. Look, you see, even after facing all the crises, breakdowns, problems, ups and downs, he he proved out to be such a great novelist. He's such an inspiration, guys. So now, here are some books by Heshe, some of his masterpieces, I can say. So the first one is Peter Comenzit. Peter Comenzit was his first novel. It tells about the individual's search for a unique spiritual and physical identity and the role of art in the formation of personal identity. The second one is Stephen Wolf. This is very interesting book about the Stephen Wolf, a man who believes himself to be half hairy and half wolf. It is filled with unexpected, strange incidents and fantastic characters. The third one is Damien. It presents reflections of an elder man on his childhood and from one of Heshe's famous novels. And the last one is Beneath the Veil. Beneath the Veil is a 1906 novel which severely criticizes education that focuses only on students' academic performance. So now, guys, the book Siddhartha is having 13 chapters, which are the first one is the Brahmin son, followed by with the summons, Gautama, next one is awakening, then Kamala, amongst the people, followed by Samsara, by the river, the ferryman, the sun, Om, and last Govinda. So the novel is set in ancient India at the time of Gautama Buddha. My friend, basically, it's a story, and I think we all love stories. So let's begin. First of all, who's Siddhartha? Our Siddhartha is our main character. So let's know who is he. Siddhartha is the handsome and respected son of a Brahmin. He has mastered all the rituals and wisdom of his religion at an early age. So everyone in the village expects him to be a successful Brahmin like his father. On the other hand, Siddhartha, who spends most of his time studying the Hindu wisdom of his elders, with his best friend Govinda, do not believe the same. He performs all the rituals of religion, does what religion says should bring him happiness and peace, but he is deeply unhappy and dissatisfied. He suspects that his father and the other Brahmins have learned perfectly everything from the holy books, but they have not achieved enlightenment. The rituals and mantras they have taught him seem him more a matter of custom than a real path towards enlightenment. Siddhartha longs for something more. His thirst to know himself, to know the Atma or the soul, to achieve enlightenment is growing stronger day by day. So you guys are wondering thirst for what? Siddhartha's thirst is to find enlightenment, to know the Atma, to discover the soul. So, guys, pack your bags and let's accompany Siddhartha on his journey to quench his thirst. So, this growing thirst compelled him to leave his village and start a journey to quench his thirst. Let's get a glimpse of the hurdles and lessons Siddhartha faced on his path towards enlightenment. Siddhartha came in contact with different peoples during the journey, and each one of them taught him a lesson. So let's begin with the Samans. First of all, who are Samans? Samans are a group of traveling ascetics. They are starved, half naked, and must beg for food because they believe enlightenment can be reached through asceticism or self discipline. When they pass through Siddhartha's village, they seem completely new and different to him. So he announces he will join a group of Samans. Govinda, his best friend, decided to accompany him. Siddhartha quickly learned their teachings and practices, hoping the Saman's asceticism will help him break free of the cycle of time. But it only succeeds in revealing the second of Buddha's Four Noble Truths, which is the cause of suffering is the craving for something that can never be satisfied. I repeat, the cause of suffering is the craving for something that can never be satisfied. And the next character is the Gautama, the enlightened one. Discovering someone's path of temporary escape from suffering and does not lead to enlightenment, Siddhartha and his friend Govinda journey to the camp of Gautama, the exalted one. His teachings include Buddhism Eightfold Path. Let me tell you that the Eightfold Path are like eight principles of Buddhist. Right mindfulness, right view, right livelihood, etc., which leads you towards enlightenment. Okay. So while Govinda is completely swayed by Gautama and decides to join his followers permanently, Siddhartha has doubts and finds he has trouble completely accepting some of Gautama's teachings. Siddhartha concluded neither Gautama nor any other guide can teach enlightenment because wisdom must be learned through experience. So he must seek enlightenment by searching his soul alone. Kamla, our next character. So, Kamla, done with teachers and teachings, when Siddhartha decided to seek meaning in the world of senses. In a city, he meets a courtesan named Kamala. She is very beautiful and, becomes Siddhartha becomes Kamala's lover. He makes a conscious choice to enter the world of desire and he becomes attached to it. From Kamala, he learned much about the physical act of patience, love, and self respect. From these worldly peoples, Siddhartha learns much that is useful in the world of time. He learns parts of the Eightfold Path. Considered the first one is right attitude, which indicates that the correct way to approach an experience is to completely surrender the self while keeping the purpose steadily in mind. The second one is right aspiration, which means working for an immediate gain yields no real profit. Let's move. Awakening. After few years in world of senses, Siddhartha falls under the spell of possessions. Some 20 years after his arrival in the city, or I say in the world of senses, he begins to have dreams that suggest that time may have come to move on, to leave this world of desires. He need to awaken. Distraught over these dreams, Siddhartha sits below a mango tree to meditate. He learned neither asceticism nor sensory indulgence alone leads to enlightenment, and the mastery in either of them result in enslavement. Listen carefully, my friends. Siddhartha has to leave this material world to achieve enlightenment. So, thinking this, Siddhartha leaves the city feeling miserable and contemplating suicide. He wanders aimlessly and came across a river. He is about to let himself slip into the water to end his life. The sacred word Om reverberates within him, and his slumbering spirit awakens. How ironical is it, na? He is searching the enlightenment in life and he found it in death. Anyways, so my friends, after reading this chapter of the book, which tells Om awakens Siddhartha to a higher self, I started chanting Om every morning and I experienced the vibration of this powerful word throughout my body. Felt it healing my throat chakra. It's a beautiful feeling, friends. You guys have to try it once. The correct way to pronounce Om is not Om, it's O. Om. Have you seen the vibrations of word Om? Okay, so you have to try once and feel it for yourself. Okay, so the ferryman, our next character. Having resolved to live a new life by the river, Siddhartha soon meets the ferryman Vasudeva, who invites Siddhartha to stay with him in his hut near river. Siddhartha has spent many years pursuing enlightenment, and his experiences have shown him that enlightenment can't be taught. However, in Vasudeva, Siddhartha finds the ideal teacher. In a sense, a teacher who does not teach. Vasudeva himself admits he is not a teacher. If I could talk and teach, I would perhaps be a teacher. But as it is, I am only a ferryman, said Vasudeva. Vasudeva listens to Siddhartha and encourages him to listen to the river. Siddhartha surrendered to Vasudeva his entire life, even his clothes, in order to follow his example in leading a life of calm, fulfillment, and wisdom. Vasudeva gives Siddhartha food and shelter, but he does not impose on him his own wisdom and experiences. Siddhartha follows Vasudeva's example but reaches enlightenment on his own. Vasudeva is a guide both literally and figuratively. while he guides Siddhartha back and forth across the river. He also affirms Siddhartha's spiritual progress and encourages him to continue searching. Vasudeva is poised between the ordinary world and the world of enlightenment. He acts as an intermediary for seekers such as Siddhartha, who venture to the river and hope to pass from one world to the other. He is my favorite character, Vasudeva. Next, Siddhartha's son. So the picture you are seeing is from the movie Siddhartha. Actually, there is a movie based on this book Siddhartha, released in 1972. So Siddhartha's son. After Siddhartha's disappearance from the city or from the world of senses, Kamala, his lover, discovers she is pregnant with Siddhartha's child. Many years after this, Kamala and her son are traveling to pay homage to the Gautama, the enlightened one, when a poisonous snake bites her. Vasudeva hears the son cry for help, carries Kamala and the son to their hut. Siddhartha recognized her and realizes that the boy is his son. But unfortunately, Kamala couldn't survive. After her funeral, Siddhartha does his best to console and provide for his son. But the boy is spoiled and cynical, which is obvious. Through his interactions with his son, Siddhartha learns the Buddhist lesson of right endeavor, or to say, to try hard, and that it is not possible to impose one's knowledge of the timelessness upon one who is still subject to the limits of time. But Siddhartha is blinded by love and he ignores something he already knows. Everyone must follow his own voice to enlightenment. He has learned for himself that no one can teach enlightenment and that enlightenment must be found within. But Siddhartha attempts to impose his views on his son, due to which his son runs away in search of his own path. My dear friends, I observed the same, that sometimes we also do the same mistake. We are trying to impose our views on lessons on other persons. But see, it doesn't work like this. Everyone have their different paths, different lessons to learn, so we can guide them if they need or want our guidance, but we can't impose our thoughts and beliefs on that. So the message. So let's talk about the main message or the messages the author wants to convey to us through his novel. After this incident, Siddhartha started to live new life by the river with the ferryman Vasudeva. After many years, his friend Govinda, you remember his friend Govinda who accompanied him? Uh, so his friend Govinda returns to the river to seek enlightenment from Siddhartha. He asks Siddhartha to teach him what he knows. To which Siddhartha replied, which is also the main message that the author wants to convey through the book. Knowledge can be conveyed, but not the wisdom. I'm repeating and listen carefully. Knowledge can be conveyed, but not the wisdom. No one can teach the wisdom because verbal explanations are limited and can never communicate the entirety of enlightenment. Knowledge can be passed along through teachers, gurus, or anyone, but individuals must earn their own wisdom. You guys have to earn your wisdom. You see, Siddhartha not only learned from Samans or the Gautama, the courtesan Kamala, the ferryman, even the river. Everyone taught him a lesson. So, friends, I concluded if one knows how to be a disciple, the master is revealed everywhere. Learn to be a disciple, learn to be a shishya, and the master is available everywhere. Even a stone wall, even a stone wall will become a master. Even a rock will become a master. And if one does not know how to be a disciple, then even a master is no more than a stone wall, is no more than a rock. This is the first main message. The second one is time is a deception. What exists around us or inside us is never one sided. A person or an act is never entirely samsara or entirely nirvana. No one is entirely holy or entirely sinful. It only seems like this because we all are subject to deception because of the limitations of time. But time, my friends, time is not real. Understand it like this: the sinful, which I am and which you are, is a sinner. But in times to come, we will be a Brahma again. Agree? Will reach Nirvana, will be Buddha. But see, these times to come are only a deception. Within the sinner is now and today already the Buddha. Remember in beginning I addressed you all as hello Buddhas. We all are Buddhas already. I am Buddha, you are Buddha, we all are Buddhas. All sin already carries the divine forgiveness in itself. All small children already have the old person in themselves. All infants already have death. All dying people the eternal life. In deep meditation, or I say conscious breathing, there is the possibility to put time out of existence, to see all life which was, is, and will be as if it was simultaneous. And there, everything is good, everything is perfect, everything is Brahma. So be with your breath 10 to 20 minutes a day to conscious breathing, and you feel it. Aham Brahmasmi. I am totality. I am divine. So I am done for today. And thank you so much to PMC Global, PMC English, PMC Haryanvi, PMC Mahadrashta, Pyramid Health Society, Malaysia, and everyone to give me a chance. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pooja, for your wonderful sharing. You have truly inspired us. You have given a beautiful intro about the author, which has truly motivated not only me, I'm sure the audiences would agree, to read more books about this author.